Tontan, South Wales' leading home rental sunbed company, offer the very latest in tanning technology. With something to suit everyone's needs, you can tan at home anytime at your own leisure. For information on special offers and sales, visit the website www.tontan.com.
Remember, you don't have to go to town to go brown.
Call Tontan today on 01443 675 556.
Cardiff City Supporters Club was going to use his own initiative and travel up to London. It was stopped at last minute. I've caught up with him now eventually. He's going to tell us what's been happening. There's been a lot happening in the papers as well over the weekend, so a lot to catch up with, and an exclusive to all our supporters. Vince, first of all, take me back to last Friday.
Well, it was a bit before that. Wednesday evening I was sat in the house wondering what we could do. I heard rumours of how precarious our situation is at the club at the moment, and the court case seemed to be the problem, so I decided to put a bit of pressure on Langstone, and we don't know who Langstone are, that was have to be Sam and Man. So I hadn't heard off Sam for 4 months, so I decided to good thing would be organise a protest outside his house, peaceful one obviously, on the 9th, the day before, and hand a petition over urging them to withdraw the court case. So I put that on the message boards on Thursday morning, and I had a lot of positive support off supporters wishing me, yep, they want to come and be part of that. And then Sam rang me in the afternoon. I had a conversation with him on the phone, and then next thing he rang me again and said he was coming around to see me. He turned up in South Wales. I ended up meeting him at his usual place up in Nelson with Gwyn, and we went for a walk in the dark because it was pretty late by then. And he put his side of the story across, which I'm not believing, or I'm not dismissing. What he's saying, he's obviously nothing to do with Langstone. What Langstone want is they want Peter Ridsdale resign, and they want Langstone to be to work alongside Paul Guy to pay all the creditors off, including themselves and Paul Guy, pay all the debts up, but they would have overall control of the club, and and that's why we withdraw the court case. There was a lot of accusations of they were very concerned that the club were going to go into administration before the court case, before the 10th. There was also accusations made that perhaps they were stalling so that they wanted to win the court case on the 10th, but they would put the club into administration anyway next year once all the stadium was built and everything, all the projects were done in the next 18 months, and then put it into administration so they wouldn't have to pay off the debt. And I think that's the concern of Langstone. What they're saying is there's no emotional tie to Cardiff City Football Club from PMG or the main investors who are there at the moment, and we've got to agree with that, with the exception of Steve Borley. There's no Cardiff City fans on the board, or investor-wise. They're all rugby people, developers, or our chairman's an ex. He's a Leeds United fan. I know he has come out and said he supports Cardiff City fully, and he's passionate that he wants to take the club forward. I then spoke to Peter the next day because Sam asked me to put pressure on Peter Ridsdale and PMG. Peter answers the phone as he always does, never ducks. I'll give him credit for that. Whenever you try and contact him, he's easy to get hold of, and he always rings you back if you leave a message. So I rang Peter. I said that Sam, said Langstone would call off the case if he resigned, and if PMG done a deal with Langstone. Peter said he would resign. He'd resign now if it meant that the club could go forward. But after speaking with his fellow directors and the investors, they didn't want Peter to resign. They felt that they wanted to keep him on, and by him resigning would make absolutely no difference to the final outcome of the court case. Both. If you listen to both sides have got a good story. Peter had said that Sam had approached him to stay on as chairman last week, and to help get the money back for Langstone, which Peter declined. He said he declined. When I challenged Sam about that, Sam said Peter had he had a brief conversation with Peter, but that hadn't come up in the conversation. So, as I say, that's both of them have told me that, and I'm not hiding it. If they don't want to tell me things, don't tell me. But I am putting stuff out there now. I'm not keeping things.
That's the first time they've had a conversation together since the split of the club, really.
No, they haven't. They've had several conversations, more than what people know. They've had about 4 or 5 meetings. Also, PMG have met with Hextals, and Peter and PMG have met with Hextals. There's been a lot of meetings going on behind. A deal was, Peter said they'd done a deal to repay the loan notes back within the next 2-3 years. Again, when I asked Sam about that, if he knew anything, he said, well, as far as he knew, Langstone's had been, there was nothing concrete. It'd been, well, if we get a bit of money for this, we can pay that off, and if we get a bit extra year, there was no concrete deal down. It was just like ifs and buts, which they weren't concerned with. The reason why, when I asked Sam why Langstone's won Peter is still removed, they said there's 3 things he's been poor at. Firstly, footballing decisions. They say is not very good given where we are in the league now, and some of the signings in the last 12 months, and the misuse of funds on certain players. Secondly, they weren't very happy with his financial, his financial background, the way they struggled. Leeds went on the brink of receivership, and Barnsley went into administration. The proof that they weren't too happy with his track record on finances, and they said his administration wasn't very good because of the contract that the second contract that he'd done the deal with wasn't very good, and they were hence this court case has come along. And a bit of background I was given to by Sam on that contract was there was 50 conditions. Sam said he didn't know what the conditions were, although I do find that a bit strange given he was given the document to take the Langstone to sign. But there we are, I'll take his word on it. He said that there were 50 conditions on it to be met by May 2007, and because all them conditions weren't met, that's why Hextals decided, that's why Langstone's instructed Hextals to issue the writs on Cardiff City Football Club and Paul Guy. So there's 2 writs running at the moment against the club. So there's also accusations of each side is saying that the other's been pulled out of the. Each side has pulled out of their, deferred the last 2 court cases because it was originally due for October, then November, now December. Langstones are very concerned that, as I say, the Paul Guy's got and the investors got no emotional tie to the club, and they're just here to cream off the money from the development, sell all the assets, the best players, and then take the club into administration so they don't have to pay the debt back. And that's where we're at the moment.
And you've had meetings with both sides of the fence, if you like.
Yeah.
What's your opinions on it all?
I think it's a mess. I think we're in dire straits. The other thing that came out the last week, the bank is now holding all our money because of the court case. They won't release anything. So financially now we've got nothing to go on with. And if it continues for any length of time, we'll go into administration even though we've got money in the bank. Peter's saying that, because I asked Peter a direct question, would they take the club into voluntary administration? And he said no, the only way we go into administration prior to the court case was the question. The only way we go into administration prior to the court case was if it kept getting deferred, because by sometime next year we would run out of cash because the bank is now not giving us any money because of the court case. So yeah, to put it, my opinion is we're in a mess. I've got to agree, they looking at it from outside, I think Sam Aman and Peter Ridsdale are 2, for a better word, puppets in the middle. They're the 4 guys. Whether Sam's involved with Langstone, I'm not sure, but he obviously got a big pull on him. They put him as the front man. He does all the decision making, he turns up at all the meetings, so he must have some massive input in there and he must be part of it. Whether it's all him, I doubt it very much. I don't think he's just him personally. I think there are other people involved. I think that they're quite right to be concerned with the investors, looking at them on face value, that they haven't got any emotional ties to Cardiff City Football Club. They